All right, good morning, everyone. This is Andrew Crenn, meteorologist for National Weather Service in Central North Carolina. We'll get started here for the weekly briefing here for the period from today, Thursday, August 31st, going into the holiday weekend and into September 6th, next Wednesday. We'll be talking about Idalia as well in this briefing. All right, so this is the current location and track of Tropical Storm Idalia. As of 11 a.m., it continues to move east off the southeastern North Carolina coast. We are not expecting any further impacts for Central North Carolina for the rest of today and this evening. So we're going to see more or less improving conditions. Some parts of Central North Carolina, you may have already seen the sun peeking out and the clouds moving out. I believe in the Triad, they were sunny as of earlier this morning. So improving conditions area-wide. And Idalia will continue to track east and southeast, kind of towards Bermuda as we get into the latter part of the holiday weekend, and perhaps take a northward turn into the North Atlantic next week. So we were putting together all the precipitation reports, and we want to thank everyone who was providing us precipitation reports. This map includes observational data from multi-radar and multi-sensor, MRMS, includes COCO-ROS, precipitation observations from the general public, as well as observations at our various airports. So we did receive these multiple reports, and you can see that in the Northwest, they saw the least amount of rainfall from Idalia. In fact, Greensboro and Winston-Salem didn't record any precipitation. So quite a discrepancy from the Northwest all the way to the Southeast. The highest precipitation reports somewhere around 2.5 to 5 inches, in some cases 7 inches of rain, kind of in the sandhills of Central North Carolina, and the highest amounts in central and southern Sampson County. There are also reports of maybe an inch, half an inch to an inch and a quarter in parts of Wake County, and generally an inch to 2 inches kind of along the northern coastal plain, and in the southern Piedmont, maybe 1 to 2.5 inches. So quite a large swath of rainfall from Idalia over the last 24 hours. Some beneficial rain as well, because we'll go over the current drought, which doesn't factor in this precipitation, but it was a very beneficial rain for the region. In addition to the rainfall, we have reports of the highest wind gusts across the area, and generally the highest gusts were around 40 miles per hour, anywhere from 35 to 40 miles per hour highest, where we were expecting them to be over the sandhills and the southern coastal plain. We had a gust of 39 at the Fayetteville airport, a gust of 33 in Raleigh. We had a gust of close to 40, 39 miles per hour in Greensboro. So generally in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range, with some lower gusts of 20 to 25 across the northern and northeast Piedmont. This is a change from our previous briefing that was sent out earlier this morning at 6 a.m. You may have, if you were looking at that briefing this morning, we had some potential river flooding expected for the Black River in Tomahawk. That's in southern Sampson County. The River Forecast Center has updated their forecast, and currently there is no river flooding expected for any of our rivers. So this river at Tomahawk is currently downgraded. It was currently forecast right now to only reach action stage Friday morning. Earlier, that forecast was showing it getting into minor flood. So this is an improvement, and this is currently expected to remain below flood stage through the weekend. So going beyond Idalia, let's go into the rest of the pattern going into the holiday weekend and into the middle of next week. it's just going to be just great weather. It's really hard to pick a better holiday weekend for Central North Carolina. Um, Tropical storm Idalia will continue to move east this afternoon and tonight. Sunshine will continue to build in. Northerly winds are still a little gusty out there, 10 to 15. We may see some continued gusts into the early afternoon of 20 to 25, but those will decrease as we get into the evening hours. And actually, it's going to be chilly the next couple nights. We're looking at most areas in the 50s, kind of in the mid to upper 50s, both tonight and tomorrow night, with clear skies and light winds. And also temperatures are going to be below normal, roughly in the upper 70s to low 80s for Friday and for Saturday. So really picture perfect weather. Couldn't really forecast a better holiday weekend for the area. So if you have a chance, go outside and really enjoy this weather, because we have temperatures will be rising back above normal as we get into next week, and especially into the middle of next week. Temperatures in the 90s will once again return Monday, Tuesday, and likely on Wednesday. There could be a low-end chance of a shower or storm come Wednesday, but there's a fair bit of uncertainty, so that forecast still remains dry into next week. Given that we're not expecting any precipitation over the next 7 days, we have no threat of severe weather. Our accumulated precipitation forecast, we've had all the rain we can, pretty much all the rain is largely done for today, so we're not expecting anything for the rest of today and tonight, and Friday through early next week and potentially into Wednesday. It's going to be dry with lots of sunshine, and again, we'll be below normal for the first couple days of the weekend, and then trending back above normal into next week. With no precipitation expected, we are not expecting any additional river flash flooding. So you can see the graphic today had a slight risk of excessive rain in the far eastern northern coastal plain of Central North Carolina, but that rain has moved east, so no additional flash flooding today, nothing expected for the weekend. This is the latest drought update, and this was what came out based on data from the 29th of August, so a couple days ago. So it's important to understand that this drought update does not include the additional rain that fell from Idalia that I've reported on briefly in this discussion. So there are some potential that this drought outlook may change as we get into early next week, but certainly stay tuned for that. But this was excluding the rain from Idalia, which this didn't account for. It did see an expansion of the abnormally dry conditions. They pushed it well into the northeast Piedmont and continues to be over the coastal plain, and they also introduced a moderate drought for the southern Piedmont and the central coastal plain going towards the coast of North Carolina. Again, there likely probably to be some changes, but we'll have to know more details as we get into early next week. So after the really nice weather this holiday weekend, we are going to be trending back above normal. The Climate Prediction Center shows a 50 to 70% chance of likely seeing above normal temperatures across most of the Southeast and the Carolinas. So that will push our temperatures back into most likely the 90s. And during that time, we aren't expecting any kind of above normal precipitation. Right now, it's expected to be near normal. Looking in the tropics, they still remain quite active. So the graphic on the top right continues to show, the latest track of Tropical Storm Idalia, which will continue to move out of our area. We have Hurricane Franklin that is still out there in the North Atlantic. And there was also a recently named storm this morning, Tropical Storm Jose. And there are also two areas that the Hurricane Center is monitoring. one over the central Atlantic and one west of Africa. And these additional disturbances currently not anticipated to influence us, but the tropics remain quite active, so we will continue to monitor these as we go into the weekend and into next week. All right, so weather summary. The tropical storm Idalia will continue to move off to the east this afternoon and tonight. No more impacts are expected from the storm. Sunshine will continue to build in. We'll get those northerly winds of 10 to 15 and gusting to 20 to 25 that will decrease this evening. Really picture perfect weather for Friday and Saturday with temperatures in the low 80s and temperatures in the upper 50s. Dry high pressure will be pretty much over the area from tomorrow into the middle of next week. And there could be a low end chance of a shower or storm come the middle of next week. Temperatures again below normal today into Saturday with upper 70s to low 80s. And then we'll see that ramp up in warmer temperatures back to above normal in the low to mid 90s next week. Again, we have no hazards are expected for the next 7 days. With that, I will